Before Islam, Libya was a land shaped by the vastness of the Sahara and the blue expanse of the Mediterranean. Its landscapes were as diverse as its people, with the endless desert meeting the fertile coastal plains. The north boasted ancient cities like Oya, Sabratha, and Leptis Magna, once thriving under Roman rule. These cities were bustling centers of trade, culture, and learning, their streets echoing with the voices of merchants, scholars, and travelers from across the Mediterranean world. Inland, the Berber tribes, Lawata, Hawara, Nafusa, roamed the desert, living in mobile communities. Fiercely independent, they adapted to the harsh environment, moving with the seasons and the needs of their herds. Their wealth was measured in herds of camels, goats, and sheep. Their culture was rooted in oral tradition, storytelling, and poetry, passed down through generations, and in a deep spiritual connection to the land they called home. The Berbers were skilled navigators and warriors, their society built on clan loyalty and survival. They knew every oasis and every star in the night sky, guiding their caravans safely across the shifting sands. While the coast was ruled by foreign empires, Romans, then Byzantines, the desert remained Berber territory, largely untouched by outside control. The two worlds coexisted, sometimes in tension, sometimes in trade. Trade linked the tribes to the cities, bringing goods, news, and ideas. Yet the Berbers fiercely guarded their autonomy, resisting domination by any foreign power. Religiously, the coast was Christian under Byzantine rule, with grand churches and mosaics. But the interior kept ancient animist beliefs, with some tribes blending in elements of Judaism or Christianity, creating a unique spiritual tapestry. Libya was a mosaic of faiths and identities, a crossroads of civilizations, largely unchanged for centuries, where tradition and diversity thrived side by side. But this ancient world stood on the brink of transformation, as new winds began to blow from the east, carrying with them the promise and challenge of Bomari of the Jalmais. Change. The stage was set for a profound change that would reshape the land and its people forever, ushering in a new era for Libya. Libya's geography made it a vital bridge between Egypt and the Maghreb, connecting east and west, north and south. Armies, merchants, and ideas all passed through its coastal road, the main artery since antiquity. The Byzantines garrisoned the coast to protect Egypt, while Berber tribes linked the Mediterranean to sub-Saharan Africa through ancient trade routes. Caravans carried gold, salt, and enslaved people north, while goods and grains traveled south. Libya was a crossroads, a place of constant interaction and change. Its coast looked to the Mediterranean, its desert to Africa's heart. This duality defined Libya's role as a frontier zone. Into this dynamic landscape, a new force from Arabia was about to arrive. The destiny of this land between worlds was about to be rewritten. Islam's arrival in Libya began with the rapid expansion of the early caliphate. After conquering Egypt in 642, Muslim armies under Amr ibn al-As turned west, eyeing Libya as the next frontier. Initial expeditions were cautious, probing Byzantine defenses and learning the land. These were not full invasions but strategic moves to secure the new western border. The Berber tribes and Byzantine garrisons faced a disciplined, motivated force unlike any before. The weakened Byzantines, stretched thin by wars and internal strife, by war strains, struggled to resist. The stage was set for the end of Byzantine rule and the dawn of a new era in Libya. The first major target for the early Muslim armies in North Africa was Cyrenaica, known as Barca. In 643, Amr ibn al-As led his forces to a swift and decisive victory, capturing the region after a series of rapid campaigns. The conquest was not only achieved through force, but also through negotiation, as local leaders agreed to pay tribute in exchange for peace and a degree of autonomy. This secured a crucial foothold for further westward expansion, allowing the Muslim armies to establish supply lines and bases deep into North Africa. The next challenge on their path was Tripolitania, a region dominated by the fortified city of Oya, modern-day Tripoli, whose imposing defenses had long protected it from invaders. Unlike Barca, Tripoli put up fierce resistance. The defenders held out for an entire month, relying on their strong walls and strategic position to withstand the siege. The breakthrough finally came when Muslim soldiers discovered an unguarded section of the wall under cover of darkness, allowing them to open the gates and let the main army pour in. The city fell, and with its capture, the centuries-old Byzantine power along the Libyan coast was decisively broken, marking a turning point in the region's history. For the first time, the Mediterranean coast was ruled by a power that came from the desert interior rather than from across the sea. The symbols of empire changed, almost overnight, but the real challenge for the new rulers lay not on the coast, but deep inland. Conquering the coastal cities was only the beginning of a much larger and more difficult campaign. The vast, arid interior of Libya, home to fiercely independent Berber tribes, would prove far more difficult to win over and control than the cities along the coast. The next phase of the conquest would be a long and complex process, marked by negotiation, resistance, and gradual adaptation on both sides, as the desert's people and the new rulers learned to coexist. The Berber tribes of the interior met the Arab armies with a mix of pragmatism and resistance. Their first encounters were marked by uncertainty, as the Berbers weighed the intentions of these new arrivals from the east. Some saw opportunity in alliance, hoping to benefit from new trade routes and political ties, while others fought fiercely to defend their independence and ancestral lands. The desert's vastness favored Berber guerrilla tactics, making them a formidable foe. Their knowledge of the harsh terrain allowed them to strike quickly and vanish into the sands. For decades, conflict and rebellion flared as the caliphate tried to assert control. The struggle was not just military, but also a contest of cultures and beliefs. Yet, alongside war, there was diplomacy, trade, and gradual cultural exchange. Markets became meeting points where ideas and customs mingled. Muslim merchants and settlers lived among the Berbers, sharing desert traditions and values. Over time, trust and mutual respect began to grow. Islam spread slowly, not by force alone, but through contact and shared experience. Stories, hospitality, and daily life became bridges between worlds. Many tribes found resonance in Islam's emphasis on community and a single God, values that echoed their own traditions of kinship and unity. Conversion was gradual. Tribes adapted Islam to their own customs and language. The faith was woven into the fabric of Berber life, creating something new. Over generations, resistance gave way to alliance and shared faith. The Berbers became both guardians and innovators of their adopted religion. The Berbers did not simply submit, they embraced and reshaped Islam, infusing it with their own spirit and identity. A new, uniquely North African form of Islam began to emerge, one that reflected both the legacy of the desert and the enduring strength of its people. As Berber tribes accepted Islam and Arab rule solidified, Libya became part of a vast new civilization. The region was now linked to global trade, learning, and culture stretching from Spain to India. Old trade routes thrived, with oasis towns like Ghadames becoming bustling hubs. Caravans brought goods from across the Islamic world and returned with African riches. Arabic became the language of religion and culture, while Berber languages endured in daily life. Libyan scholars traveled to great centers of learning, bringing back new ideas. Berber warriors joined Islamic armies, helping conquer the Maghreb and Spain. Libya was transformed from a remote frontier into a vital part of the Islamic world. The spread of Islam was the most transformative event in Libya's history. It unified the region's diverse peoples under a new faith, forging a shared Libyan identity rooted in both Berber heritage and Islam. Tribal loyalties remained, but the Ummah, the global Muslim community, offered a new sense of belonging. Libyan Berbers became pioneers, spreading Islam across North Africa and into Spain. Libya's role as a gateway grew, sending merchants and missionaries deep into Africa. The country became an active participant in the diffusion of Islam and its culture. The initial clashes gave way to adaptation and acceptance. The Berbers were not merely conquered, they became carriers of the faith. Libya emerged from isolation, joining a vibrant Islamic world. This legacy continues to shape Libya's identity to this day.